Hi, my name is Russell, and in this video we are going to show how to calculate the mean time between failure in OEE Studio using custom expressions in the pivot grid. This is a more advanced video, so if you are unfamiliar with custom expressions in OEE Studio, please first watch the introductory video linked in the description below. This video is based on a document in the OEE Studio website, and I strongly recommend that you download this. There is a link in the video description. Let's get an overall understanding of what we are trying to measure. As described in the tooltip, mean time between failure is the average time between failures. It measures the average time that something works until it fails. To calculate mean time between failure, we divide the number of operational hours in a period by the number of failures that occurred in that period. This will give us the mean time between failure as an hourly value, which is how it is usually represented. Using this definition, we will need to calculate mean time between failure in three different stages. Firstly, we will calculate the run duration, which will represent the total time the line was running. Then we will calculate the number of times the line was down. This is the number of occurrences where the line was in the down state. Finally, we will divide the run duration by the number of down occurrences to get the mean time between failure. We will start by going to the tabular analysis screen under the availability menu. Select the required filters. In this example, we will look at lines 1 and 2. Choose to include runtime and downtime and to ignore standby and setup time. For this example, we are going to need to create three custom fields to simplify the calculation. A run duration field, a field to count the number of downtime occurrences, and finally a mean time between failure field, which uses those previous two fields for its calculation. The first field we will create is the run duration field. This will be used to calculate the total time that the line was running. Let's start by creating a decimal field named run duration, which will sum using actual values and appear in the data area of the grid. The logic we will use to calculate run duration is to sum the duration values only when the state is running and to ignore other durations. We will do this using the logical IIF function and the fields duration and state. If the state is running, we will use the duration value, otherwise we will ignore the value by setting it to 0. Next, we will create a field to store the number of occurrences of only the down events. As before, create a custom decimal field which we will call downcount that will sum using actual values in the data area of the grid. The logic we will use here is similar to what was used in determining run duration. If the state is down, we will sum the reason count field, otherwise we will ignore the value by setting it to 0. We are now ready to calculate the mean time between failure. This is now relatively simple and is done by dividing the run duration by the down count. We will create a new field to calculate the mean time between failure, which will reference the two fields we created earlier. In this case, the type needs to be duration. The field calculation method in this case needs to be summary values, as it will be calculated based on the summary values of the run duration and down count as they are displayed in the grid. When dividing the run duration by the down count in the expression editor, we also need to guard against division by 0 errors. So we will use the logical IIF statement to return 0 if the down count is 0. Otherwise we will return the run duration divided by the down count. As you can see, there are a lot of 0 values in the results. This is because mean time between failure is a summary value for the entire line. In order to summarize to a line, simply right-click the device column and choose Collapse All. You can also remove the loss reason from the grid entirely, but keeping them there is useful to see which losses are responsible for the mean time between failure value. To dynamically chart the values, select the mean time between failure values in the grid. To save your work, simply add to favorites. Thank you for watching. This was a more advanced video that demonstrated how to calculate values by first creating intermediate values, in this case the down count and run duration, to calculate the final mean time between failure value. I really hope this was useful to you, and thank you for using OEE Studio.